Hello, in this tutorial I'm gonna be showing you how to make this Jean Paul Gaultier perfume bottle, and yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna first delete everything in the scene and get our references. I'm just gonna move this reference up a bit, and yeah. Okay, how we're gonna go about modeling this model, we're just gonna get a plane and we're gonna use this plane to trace the shape of the bottle from the front. And using this plane, we're gonna go to the side view and align it from the side. And we're gonna extrude it to the other side and align it from the side, but from the back of the bottle. And yeah, that's how we're gonna go about it. And yeah, following this process, let's get our plane and rotate it on the y-axis. And then we're gonna just scale it up and add our subdivision modifier. And we'll add a bit more subdivisions. And let's now go into edit mode and let's align it. Okay, yeah, let's align it. And let's go to edit mode. And we're just gonna trace the shape of the bottle now. Yeah, so basically just try to make it as close as possible to the reference by adding loop cuts. Like here, I'm just gonna extrude this up, and we're gonna add an extra loop cut here to match the shape. Let's add one at the bottom and scale it, yeah. And yeah, we're just gonna do this for the rest of the shape, and I'm gonna speed up this process a bit. And yeah, in this step you don't have to worry too much about like the curvature of the bottle, like how it's gonna look in 3D. We're just worrying about how it's gonna look from the front for now, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make it as a 3D bottle in a few seconds. What I'm doing now is just adding some minor tweaks to make it as close as possible to how the model looks. So yeah, I'm just adding some supporting loop cuts around like this part in the middle, so it looks like a steep change in the curvature, and yeah, until the shape is as accurate as the reference we have. Okay, now that we have the outline done, I just dissolved the edge in the middle, so we have control all over the horizontal edges only. And yeah, I'm gonna use this on the other reference we have to trace the shape of the bottle from the sides. And yeah, make sure that the side reference and the front reference are like the same like size, so we don't get any inaccurate measurements of the bottle. So yeah, we're gonna use this reference to trace the sides of the bottle. And to do that, we're gonna enable a setting in Blender called proportional editing. What it does, as you can see, it moves like all the vertices together at one time. Like you could control this using the scroll wheel, as you can see. And yeah, we're just gonna align the shape of the bottle until we get the exact shape for the sides. So yeah, we're just gonna align the vertices, and I'm gonna skip this bulge at the bottom of the perfume, as I'll just add it when we have the full model of the perfume. So now that this front part is done, let's extrude this whole thing, and then just we're gonna scale it on X by -1, okay? And now we're just gonna align it on the back too. So yeah, just do the exact same thing we just did with the front part. And so it doesn't affect the front part, we're just gonna hide it. And yeah, just using proportional editing, just adjust it with the scroll wheel until we have the same shape for the back. After we have this, let's add a subdivision modifier now to smooth it out. And let's shade smooth this. And yeah, the subdivision just made it less accurate to the shape we have, so we can just use the subdivision now to make it more accurate. Like the subdivided surface, we can just align it more. It's just a little bit off. Just align anything which looks a bit off. And yeah, we're just gonna do the same thing with the front part too, as it's not the same as the model we have. So let's increase the size a bit, and yeah, let's align the shape of the model with the shape in the reference. So now that we're done with the body, let's trace the shape of the atomizer. So let's delete these top faces. Let's delete this face and move this a bit down. Yeah, let's move it a bit down. And yeah, let's extrude it up and match these like wiggly rings as shown in the bottle. You're just gonna extrude up and then scale down and extrude up and scale up till you finish these rings. I'm gonna speed this up. Let's now extrude this bit out and extrude it to the top so we make the last part of the perfume. Now this is how it's looking like. The problem is these edges are subdivided, so they're not as sharp as we want them to be. So we're just gonna use the edge crease tool to make these edges as like sharp we want them to be. So yeah, as you can see, the edges became sharper. Let's just make this a bit smooth. Let's move this edge a bit down and scale it down. Yeah. Maybe this might be a little bit too sharp, so let's just scale down the edge crease a bit. So edge crease, and yeah, I'm gonna scale it down just a little bit. Yeah, this seems right. And select this top face and edge crease it too, so we have like a sharp like end for the atomizer. And yeah, this is the whole shape for the bottle. Now let's go ahead and start adding details in the model, as you can see. So we're gonna add these black strips, and how we're gonna do that is by aligning the loop cuts we have. So we're just gonna align these loop cuts with the cuts we have, and if there's like an empty space in the middle, we're just gonna add an extra loop cut. So I'm gonna align this, add a new loop cut, add a new loop cut here, line it, and then move this up a little. The loop cuts and move this up a little, another loop cuts, and yeah. And now we have like faces that will be extruded inwards to simulate how these glass bits are looking. So we're just gonna extrude them inwards by Alt S. And as you can see, it's looking smooth, so we're just gonna add an edge crease to it, but we don't want to select the vertical edges, we just want to select the horizontal edges. So let's select the vertical edges we have. I did this by just deselecting the vertical edge loops we have. And yeah, I just add an edge crease here to make it like steep. And let's extrude this ring of faces just to get the same shape we have in the reference, and add an edge crease on these two horizontal edges. Let's select them, then Shift E to add an edge crease. Now let's add the gap between the cap of the atomizer and the whole body. So let's add like a loop cut, and let's extrude this ring of faces inwards. Let's move it up a bit, and yeah, let's add also supporting loop cuts on this part so it looks more square-ish from the bottom. Okay? Let's add another supporting loop cut here, and yeah, now it looks good. To make the hole for the atomizer, just select these faces, extrude them outward, and then just make it loop tools and circle to make it circular. And then we're gonna add a subdivision modifier. Let's go add modifiers, subdivision modifier to smooth it out. And we're gonna add a shrink wrap modifier then to make it stick to the bottle. Wait, where's the... Let's align it first. Let's scale it down. Align it with the shape. Yeah, this looks good. And then we're gonna add our shrink wrap modifier. So let's select it, go to add modifiers, shrink wrap, and let's select the shape of the bottle, and let's move it let's align it first with the shape. Yeah, this looks good. Let's open the shrink wrap modifier so it's visible, and yeah, this looks pretty good. So yeah, we're just gonna apply the shrink wrap, and we're not gonna apply the subdivision because it's gonna be applied when we add it to to the bottle. So let's just delete it and let's apply our shrink wrap modifier. What we're gonna do now is just align the vertices of this other mesh to the vertices of the atomizer. So let's go to edit mode and let's just let's select both of these objects. Let's select both of the objects. Yeah, and let's just adjust the position of the loop cuts so they match the circle we have. So we're gonna select this and move it downwards. Yeah, so after we align them, just delete these faces surrounding the circle we have. And we're gonna make sure if the edges around the sphere and the edges in the hole match, so we can add our loop cuts. So as you can see here, we have 20 edges, and I mean 22, and on the outer hole we have, if we check, like let's select the outer edge, it's 20. So we just need 2 more edges, so we're gonna add a loop cut around the whole thing. Yeah, so this loop cut is gonna add just 2 edges to the outer part, so it's 22, so it's matching, so we can add the mesh together. So yeah, let's just fill in the rest of the faces. As you can see, they match exactly as we calculated. And yeah, it looks perfectly fine. So we need to extrude the circle in. So let's select the circle and let's extrude it in with E. I'm just gonna delete the crease first, and yeah, let's extrude it in with E. And it's looking good. So wait, let's add a bevel on the outer part so it's like smooth and stuff. Yeah, this looks good. Let's increase the segments of the bevel using the scroll wheel, and yeah, this looks pretty good. Oh, what is this artifacts? I think we need to just scale this down a bit. Yeah, we need to scale this down so it's not near the outer parts. And let's scale this, bevel this part, and I think we need to add a loop cut around it too. So let's add a loop cut, and yeah, just press these outer loop cuts and then G twice to adjust their position. It's looking much better. Let's G twice too and do this. Okay, this looks much better. Now let's add the materials for this little gaps here. So we need to separate them into like seams. So let's just select the parts we want to have separated. So just select these edges. I'm gonna just keep selecting each edge for the glass part we have for the bottle. Okay, select this, like this, yeah, this too. It's taking so long. Select this, yeah, this one, and yeah, and we're gonna make this into like seams. Yeah, we'll make this into seams. Why is that? So when we select by L, we can select this part separately. So we can select all these and give them a material. So we're just gonna give this a material, and we're gonna call it glass. Wait, let's change this to English. We're gonna call it glass, and let's press Control I. So we give the body, let's call it gold or something. Let's press Control I and assign this new material. Now let's go to the material glass and make it into glass. Let's change this to a red color and pump down the roughness and make this into like 1.3 IOR. And let's change the gold into a goldish color and metallic and low roughness. And this is how it's looking. It's not the best, but we could get like as close as possible to the reference, but just we need to get an overview. Let's add a seam here too to have a different material for like where the liquid comes out from. So add a seam, select this, add a new material and assign it. And we're gonna call it spray. And okay, let's make this little bulge at the bottom of the perfume. So we're gonna select this vertice in the middle and then just control and select these like bunch of vertices and make sure proportional editing is on. And yeah, we're gonna just move it outwards like this And let's just match the reference we have. I think this is about right, like this shape. I think this is like the one we have in the reference. And yeah, this is how it's looking now. I'm just gonna add some lights so we can see how it looks like under some lighting, like some good lighting. We're just gonna add like a simple setup, just lights on left side, and lights here on the top left, and ones here too. Now that we have the body done, now let's focus on the materials. We're gonna edit the gold material, so we have these little rings, the bump rings. How we're gonna do that is we're gonna get an image of horizontal lines which are black and white, and we're gonna use this as a bump which like gives height to the material, or gives the illusion of height to the material. And here's an image I found on Google. As you can see, it's just black and white lines, and I'm gonna use this as the height map for the material. So before starting, let's just isolate the body first with a seam here. Let's just add a seam. And we want the whole body to have a different material than the top part. At least it's not different. It's the same, but just has the little rings, the bump node we're gonna add. So yeah, I just duplicated the material, and yeah, let's add an image texture. And let's connect it to the height of the bump node. Let's add a bump node, and let's connect it to the height, or wait, height, and connect it to the normal. As you can see, it's not correctly like aligned, so let's rotate it on the X, or on the Z by 90. And yeah, this is how it's gonna look. Let's just project from view. Let's project this from view so it looks better. Okay, let's rotate it again. I'll make this 0. Okay, now let's increase the scale a bit of this bump. Ooh, this looks good. Yeah, this is how we want it to look like. So now we want to make this thing I'm showing in the reference. So let's select these two edges to start making it. Not this one. Yeah, let's select these two edges, and we're gonna shift D and separate it. And well, we can just use the top edge and extrude it down. We don't need the bottom edge. And we're gonna delete these extra faces at the ends. And just to copy the shape we have, let's just scale it down on the Z axis, and let's add an extra edge at the end, like this. And just add an extra edge loop cut to it, and move it along the, and let's do the same thing to the other side first. Add loop cuts, and we're gonna move it just on the Y and X axes a bit. Let's do this same thing here. The X, yeah. Okay. And let's add a subdivision modifier. Let's shift N here to correct any problems in the normals. Shift smooth. Let's delete this loop cut we added. I think if we delete it, it's gonna look more nice. Yeah, so let's dissolve, and then go to the other side, and let's dissolve this extra edge. Yeah, looks nice. Okay, we can now apply our subdivision and add a solidify modifier to give it some thickness. So now let's add the ring thing we have. So add, and go add circle, and then we're just gonna see what size we want. Let's scale this up a little. Yeah, this looks pretty nice. So let's undo the rotation, make it 90, and let's convert this to a curve, so we can give it some geometry. So yeah, let's extrude this outwards and shade smooth, and let's convert this back to mesh. So let's go convert. What's happening? Okay, right click, convert to mesh, and then select this edge we have, bevel it, and then we're gonna extrude it along the Y and Z axes. So let's scale it, yeah, just like this. yeah, yeah, about this size. Shade smooth, auto smooth, I mean. Yeah, we're gonna select these two edges, we're gonna bevel them, and then just extrude them along the x-axis. Like, we scale it on the x-axis so it's like a hole. And we're gonna crease these edges so when we add a subdivision. So let's add a subdivision. Yeah, it's looking nice. Now what we have to do is we have to merge this ring we have to the thing connected to the thing on the atomizer. We need to connect these two. So how are we gonna connect them? Let's just scale this on the X a bit as it's bigger. We're just gonna align these two together. So let's join them and let's align them. Let me apply the subdivision first. And yeah, let's join them. So first we have to align the faces together so we can join these two geometries. So let's hit the wireframe, X-ray mode, and then just align it to the. We can scale this down. Yeah, we can scale this down so it matches these four faces. And we added two loop cuts too, so it matches. So let's see. Okay, so let's select this part here. Let's select using control and then select. Let's select this whole part. Yeah, let's select this whole thing, these top, and then extrude it along the Y. We can just smooth this out by Y, then scale by 0, and let's just join this with the geometry we have on the opposite side. So let's isolate it. So we're gonna hide the whole thing instead of we're gonna hide the whole thing except for this little part. Yeah. Okay, and let's go into front view and let's just align the vertices together. So we're gonna add a loop cut where we need, and then just move loop cuts, and we add a loop cut here, and we're gonna move this edge up, loop cut here, this edge is okay, let's add a loop cut here, and a last loop cut there. Okay, we gotta move this thing a bit upward, so let's select these loop cuts, and we're just gonna move them up as we're gonna move the ring up too. So let's move them up a little, and then let's unhide everything and select this ring only now, and then just move it up. And what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna merge these two matching faces. So how we're gonna do this is by enabling the setting auto merge, which I just enabled, and it's gonna merge these vertices together. Let's increase the distance here so it merges from. Okay, no, this is too much. Let's decrease it a bit. Yeah, this is about right. Okay, it's merged. And let's delete these faces so it's like empty. Okay, and let's now dissolve this edge in between them. Let's select, yeah, wait, just dissolve edge. Okay, now let's move it near the bottle. Let's move this whole thing near the bottle, and yeah, it's done. Okay, and now let's add the gold material to this little ring. So now let's make the box for the perfume bottle. So we're just gonna get the reference. Let's go into references and get the reference. And we're just gonna align the bottle with the reference. So let's align the reference with the bottle. So yeah, this part is easy. Just trace the shape with a circle of the whole box or the container and fill the face on the top. Now we're gonna add these little details, so just add 3 loop cuts and then select the edges and bevel them a little. Okay, and we're gonna extrude them inwards. Now we're just gonna add a loop cut here and add the 6 rings we have here. So yeah, let's align this. Okay, let's add the 6 rings and let's bevel them to match the thickness of each one. And we're gonna just scale them down, and let's extrude them inwards by using E, then Alt S. Yeah, that seems right. And we're gonna do this same thing on the bottom too. So I'm just gonna speed this up. Now let's make this little like sticker here. So let's select the faces surrounding it. So these ones. And we're just gonna duplicate them like shift and D and separate. And let's just make it the same like size on the Z axis. So let's make it like almost the same like size. I think this is about it. And let's delete these top faces. And yeah, the top part of this container has like a weird design which I've seen before. So I'm just gonna do it real quick. It's like you extrude this down, scale this, and we have like random rings on the top. So I'm just gonna add these rings. Select this face, extrude it in, and let's extrude it in again and add a ring. Move it up, and let's do the last one. Yeah, move it in and move it in again. Add a loop cut, move it up, and yeah, this cool design at the top. This container has this cool design at the top. So let's just bevel these hard edges. Select these hard edges and bevel them. And yeah, let's give it more details. And let's also bevel these edges as they're hard edges. And Control B to bevel. And this looks pretty good. So now we're gonna add the label for the logo of the bottle. So let's add an image texture and let's get the image and let's project it from view. And we're gonna align these verts with the image we have here. So let's align it. And let's just increase the metallic a bit so it matches the rest of the shape. Let's increase the roughness too. We're gonna select the whole thing and go to the side and project from view. So the material projects like the other model we have. We're just gonna change the scale of this material. Like we're just gonna duplicate it first and then change the scale of the material so we have more lines, more horizontal lines. Then we're gonna hop into edit mode and we're gonna add these glass lines like the ones in the other model. So let's select where we want to apply the material. So let's select and then add a new material and apply the one we already have. And yeah, lastly, I just added some lights to see how it's gonna look in the render. So we're just gonna add some lights. So lastly, I just did something to this image. I added a color ramp and I isolated the different colors and I changed the black color to the goldish dark color we have and the white color to the light brown color we have. So I can adjust the colors accordingly. And yeah, we're done with this video. Here's the final render. Thank you for watching, and just a slight disclaimer. I've done some minor tweaks to the 3D model of the bottle just to make it look sharper in sculpt modes. And yeah, thank you for watching.